Hello, it's Kaipacho with the Weekly Pele Report. We are at the waterfall. Ow! This one is for November 29th of the wonderful year of 2023. Today the moon's in Cancer. It's going into Cancer. Okay. By Friday, heads off into Leo. And then moves through Leo till Sunday. Switches into Virgo, where we will have the third quarter square moon. Oh yeah. 12 degrees, 49 minutes of Virgo to 12 degrees, 49 minutes of Sag. And then stays in Virgo until next Pele report, next Wednesday. Yeah. Other than that, we know that Sun and Mars still moving through Sagittarius in conjunct Jupiter down there in Taurus. That's the Sun today, Mars Sunday. What I want to be talking to you about today really is the change of signs. Mercury moving out of Sagittarius, okay, up into Capricorn. And not only that, okay, so that's happening Friday, but then again by Monday, Venus is moving into Scorpio. So we're moving from fire and air into earth and water. We're going to talk a little bit just about what that implies. Yeah, so that's a big change going on. And in addition to that, of course, Venus, you know that before she goes into Scorpio, that last degree of Libra is square Pluto in the last degree of Capricorn. So, you know, that's going on for a few days. It peaks on Sunday, just before she goes. Yeah? And of course, then by next Tuesday, she's going to be in a beautiful trine. Oh, a beautiful trine to Saturn. Venus trine Saturn. She'll come into an opposition with Neptune. Okay. And yeah, we've got, that's just before actually. Beautiful. Absolutely marvelous. So let me find a nice quiet spot here to talk at you. Yeah? But first I got to get the rest of the waterfall. All right, everybody. I am on the path. So I gotta get going. Check it out. Is this Sagittarius? Sun, Mars, and Sagittarius. Mother Nature. And the natural laws governing this beautiful planet. And all of nature rejoicing. And these laws, these natural laws of Sagittarius that lead to religions and philosophies and the meaning and purpose of our existence, it's all right here in nature. It's the food chain. The interdependence. It's amazing. These banyan trees are like communities. There's so much growing in each one of these banyan trees. So beautiful. And you see the insects and the butterflies and the birds and the monkeys and everything just like really connecting, needing, using, sometimes eating everything else. And then the trees fall down and they turn into compost. And the mushrooms grow up out of the trees and the ground and the soil. And oh my God. Ow! So beautiful. So beautiful. And it just brings such a sense of awe, gratitude, wonder at the beauty and magnificence of Mother Nature that we have been given here on this planet. It's just really phenomenal. So what do we want to understand and look at here? In terms of like what's going on this week, there's a number of things, and I don't want to get too off of, how do I say, it's like what's going on is the personal planets, okay, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, these personal planets, you can see that they're moving through, okay, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, okay, Mercury going into Capricorn. So they're kind of swinging around the slower moving planets, right? Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus, Chiron and Aries, Eris and Aries, the North Node in Aries, Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, right? Pluto up there in Capricorn. So these are all, they're coming around to the third quarter squares. This Venus square Pluto is a 270-degree square, right? And they're coming back around. So, it was 9 months ago that we had these conjunctions and the seeds were sown. And we individualized and we came into ourselves and our strength and our power and our specialness and our uniqueness. But then they come around and it's more social. And it's more relational. And it's more cultural. And so they come around, and then finally, at that third quarter square, 270 degrees, we move into, the closing, more of the, the disseminating and the balsamic phases, okay, wrapping around. And that has to do with breaking out of the cultural dynamics, breaking out of even the relationship expectations, breaking out of the demands placed upon us by our fellow brothers and sisters and external authorities and institutions and governments and blah, 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 and to return to the spirit, to return to the source, to spiritualize ourselves. And this is where I want to talk about, the path of evolution involves a spiritualization of the ego. So first we have to find ourselves, and then we have to give ourselves away. Yeah, there is this, the wave builds up and then the wave returns. And it's almost like we earn all of our money and we get all of our power and we start our businesses and our families. And then in old age, we let go and we give our wisdom and we share our experience. And this is part of that moving on to the next level, moving on and upward and outward. Yes, to participate in a greater cosmic whole. Returning to the one, returning to the source. So beautiful. And this is what, like I say, this is spiritual work. This is soul development. This is where, yes, we're given all of this and we develop ourselves and we can get stuck. We can get stuck on ourselves. And we can get stuck, like gathering and, particularly in this physical, third-dimensional, material world. And we can seek our fulfillment. Yes, we can seek our success. We can seek our joy, right? Through gathering. This turns into greed. This turns into lust. This turns into insatiable desire to constantly, feed on and take more and more and more and more. We can get stuck there, babe, eh? And that's what this mantra has to do with this week. And that's what I'm going to really point to is it's interesting what I did not say at the beginning with the aspects, the moon's node has been at the same degree, right there with Eris, at the 25th degree of Aries. But the nodes go retrograde. And on Friday, that north node moves into the 24th degree of Aries. And this is very, very, very beautiful. So I want to read you the Sabian symbol for that 24th degree of Aries. And it is blown inward by the wind. The curtains of an open window take the shape of a cornucopia. The keynote is an openness to the influx of spiritual energies. So amazing. Waterfalls, the ionization here, right? It's like the air is filled with like this electric, whoa. Waterfalls are so special. The principle of abundance is brought to a further stage in this symbol. Physical fruition is shown operating at a more subtle and spiritual level. The wind, pneuma, spirit, blows through the open window, the mind window, and brings into the house of personality a promise of more than material potency. Wind blows from a region of high pressure to one of low pressure. As the window curtains are blown inward, the individual consciousness represented by the house is receiving a more concentrated influx of spiritual energies, enabling this consciousness to extend the scope of its awareness and creative expression. The message applying to this fourth stage is that inner growth demands not just an open mind, but one able to provide a container for a spiritual harvest. The cornucopian shape of the window's curtains suggests that the subtler, translucent aspect of the mind, the curtains, has acquired a plastic quality, enabling it to be molded by transpersonal forces. It blows my mind, actually, that I'm laying in bed early this morning hoping for a mantra, and I get this mantra with the window before I even read that Sabian symbol. So that's how I kind of knew. It's like, okay, I could read the third quarter moon, you know, that Sabian symbol. I could, there's lots of Sabian symbols, but it's just like, you know what? Boom. You know, this north node of the moon. I'm doing a workshop right now on Rahu. The north node of the moon is the evolutionary path forward. The dragon's head. North, onward. Yeah. And it is onward into spirit. And it's almost like this redemption. Yes, this quality of, right, you know, building and spirit occupying our mind and kind of, you know, coming down lower and lower into earth and doing this whole, you know, spiritualization of the ego, spiritualization of matter, spiritualization of the soul. And this doesn't happen automatically, like I said. This happens with what? Saturn in Pisces. Endurance, perseverance, commitment. Yes, to the soul seeking that oneness with all that is. Pisces. Pisces is the sum total of all 12 archetypes. Yes, merging, converging, uniting into the great one. So I want to just, pull forward this whole idea, yes, of this descent of spirit into ourselves, which opens our minds. So we want to let our minds be like, it's so funny, I did this, the Zazen thing, and I just had this image of a window on this side of my head and a window on this side of my head, and just letting the thoughts blow through, right? And not holding on to thoughts, not researching, investigating, delving, latching onto, needing, wanting, substantiating or validating thoughts as, the path forward, but letting the thoughts blow through. And I think if you sit there long enough, you run out of the frickin' thoughts, man. And the frickin' thoughts are done. It's just like, you come into, and, after enough thoughts fly through, in comes the spirits. In between the thoughts, right? And you start getting images and feelings and sensations that are not of your mind. That you kind of sense, this is coming from someplace else. Yeah, baby. And then you start really tapping into, right, the cosmic realities, the cosmic truths. So beautiful, so awesome. So yeah, the mantra for this week, and I want to say this over to myself a million times, right? The best thing I can do for the world is spiritualize my eye, that I may become a window through which others may see the light, become translucent, become clear. We could imagine a spiritual practice as just like basically Windex, yeah, washing us, our window. And we become more clear and more clear and more clear as we heal our wounds and we release the fog and we pull back the veil and we get out and we spiritualize that ego, and boom, we become like a beacon of light. So yeah, there's a storm happening on the seas of our planet these days. There's a lot to grieve. There's a lot to feel. There's a lot of sorrow. There's a lot of loss. There's just, so much to really take in. And we can get overwhelmed. And we can try to follow and pay attention to and get drawn into and get sucked into, right, this downward spiral of everything that is going away. But we need to focus on the light. We want to focus on where we want to go. We want to focus on the future vision of what is possible. So the best way to fight evil is to make progress toward the good. Let us focus in our meditations not on what is passing, what we're losing, what is going away and being torn away from us, but rather, I got the image, that it's almost like the cave. It's like I think of the cave of like Christ at the resurrection, right? They rolled back the stone, and the light shone in the cave, and it woke up the dragon. And the dragon, yes, so we can, right now, the dragon is getting poked. The dragon is getting stirred. And we may fear the dragon. We may fear some of the dark energy that is getting awoken. But let us remember that it is getting woken by the piercing light of spirit that is now entering this dimension. So the opportunity for awakening is with us here now, strong. And in some places it says it only takes 144,000 to gain, right? So be a beacon, be a lighthouse. Don't be the ship in the storm on the sea. Yes, struggling and taking on water and sinking and fearing. No, as we pull towards the light and we become the windows, we become the beacons, we become the lighthouse. And those ships are guided, and those ships see us as models, as examples, as a way, as a portal. Let us be portals. Let us be windows. Let us be instruments. I particularly think of the flute, because the flute is clear. You can't plug the flute. We got to unplug ourselves. We got to purge ourselves. So this Venus going into Scorpio now, okay, right? You know, we're going to be going through a purging process, and we just want to not go down with the ship. Let the ship go down and tap into our eternal nature. The soul that reincarnates life after life, not the ego that comes with the body, but the soul that goes on from body to body to body to body. Ow! Yeah, baby. So one more time. The best thing I can do for this world is to spiritualize my eye, that I may become a window through which others may see the light. May you see the light. May you be the light. Shanti. Mahalo. Suksima. So much love. Yeah, baby. Get it on. Yeah, the song for this week, I don't know. Could be Jimi Hendrix, Waterfall is one that came to me. You know, Step Into the Light. There's got to be something like that. I'll find a good song. You know, it's always in the notes underneath in the YouTube Pele report. Wishing you the best. Ciao, ciao.